This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing, and we are here in Liverpool. I'm joined by Callum Smith. Callum, firstly, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm always good.
Good to hear it, as always. Obviously, your brother Liam's just weighed in ahead of his bout with Smith-Mwakinyo tomorrow night. Just what did you make of a pair of them on the scales?
Yeah. Look, there's not a lot you can take from it unless someone's really struggled, and you can tell it's not really a lot to take from it at the highest level. They're both going to be in really good shape. They both probably had good camps, and it's just all about who's the better fighter on the night, who can get their game plan off. And we're very confident Liam's the better man, and he's trained well. He's in good shape and he's in good form. He's coming off a few good wins, which counts for a lot in boxing. Form, and he's been kept active, which is very important as well. So there's a lot at stake for Liam tomorrow night. There's big fights on the horizon for him, but a slip up tomorrow night, they all disappear. So he's very switched on, as he said there in the interview. His last few fights have all been must wins, and they seem to bring out a better performance in himself. So I say we're confident as a family and as a team.
Callum, I know sparring, but how easy could it be just to take too much confidence away from their past rounds together that they shared?
Yeah, I think that's a given. You can always take someone lightly, but as Liam said there, in this stage of his career, every fighter must win. If he wants to progress and fight your bigger names, then this fight's a must win for him. So that pressure alone should bring out a big performance in yourself, knowing that if you lose, there's no coming back from it. So he's switched on. He's very experienced at this level. He knows what he needs to do, and I think with the crowd in Liverpool back at home, that'll give him a little bit of a buzz, and we're confident he'll put in a good performance like he has done his last few.
What do you actually expect to see tomorrow night then? Talk about the fight. How does it play out?
Look, it'll play out many different ways. I think with Hassan, he's a little bit unorthodox. I think he fought a full fight southpaw once. He's fought orthodox. So I think you've got to just get in and adjust to what your opponent kind of does. But Liam's Liam. He's very good at what he does. He's very clever. He's smart with his pressure, and I think he'll just make Hassan fight at a pace he doesn't really want to fight at. And then a typical Liam Smith fight, I think he'll chip away and get rid of him in the second half of the fight. But the fight could go many different ways, and like I said, we're confident either way it goes, Liam will come out on top.
Callum, I spoke to Liam yesterday. He said next up he'd like to move towards a world title. When I posed the question to him, would you rather a big domestic fight do you feel like you deserve one, i.e. Eubank Jr., or continue pushing towards world honours? Asked Paul this earlier as well. Paul said he'd like him to go on for a domestic fight because he's been a world champion and he can secure his financial future. For you again, as his brother, what would you like to see for Liam next?
Again, yeah, he's been a world champion, so I think it's a question for him to ask personally. It's what you want and what your motivation still is, and he's been a world champion, so he's ticked that box off. So again, I think it is. He's got a young family. I think it is just to secure his future. He's in the last stage of his career, and it's probably about getting as much money as you can. But he's in a good position either way. There's a good domestic fights out there for him, which will generate the money, and he's got very good rankings with the world title. So if he was to become vacant after Charlo, or if Charlo was to stay champion, Liam's there or thereabouts with, I think, at 2 or 3 of the organisation. So it's an interesting position to be in. He has got options, which there's times in your career where you don't have any options, and you've got to take what you're given. Where he's in a good position, he's worked hard to get there, and come through this weekend, and we'll see what the future holds for him.
Callum, another highlight reel knockout for yourself out in Saudi Arabia a couple of weeks ago. Just walked me back through the Bauderlique win. He was a game opponent, but obviously in the end you just got that shot away. Yeah,
I said this beforehand. I think, again, because it was a foreign name and people hadn't heard of him, people thought he had an easy fight, and he was a good fighter. He was European champion, Olympic bronze medalist, and was a good, well-skilled southpaw. I knew it was potentially a tough fight, and he started very quick. He come out fast, which I expect him to start quick, but not as aggressive as what he was. He was letting a lot of shots go, and it turned into a bit of a shootout, which wasn't the fight I expected, but a fight I was always confident of winning, especially if it turns out in a shootout. But it was a good win. It wasn't the best performance. There was still stuff I need to work on, but overall I think it was a good result, a good opponent, good win, good finish. We've got people talking, and again, a move on and move forward.
Winning the final eliminator, so you are now a mandatory challenger to Artur Beterbiev for whenever that is called. But your thoughts firstly on the Beterbiev fight being postponed a little bit whilst Artur recovers?
Yeah, again, I don't know the ins and outs of it all. I'm just hearing he's out for a little bit, and what that does with my situation, I'm not too sure. I'm going to sit down with my team and see what the deal is and how long I'm going to have to wait, and when it's looking likely I'll get my shot, and then we'll decide what I do from there. If it's going to be too long, then I'm not going to sit and wait. I was out for 11 months before the Bauderlique fight, and then 10 months before the Castillo fight. it's not enough. I'm not fighting it. I'm always feeling better when I'm active, and no, I'd like to stay active. So I think we've got a decision to make as a team, but again, I'll know a little bit more once I find out the ins and outs.
People look at Artur Beterbiev as a bit of a monster, a killer in the division, but the last two performances from yourself have certainly sent a statement to everybody else. How confident are you when that time comes you can be the man to beat Artur Beterbiev?
Yeah, I'm very lucky. He is a beast. He's knocked every man out. I think if it was an English fighter who had 3 belts and had knocked everyone out, there'd be a lot more made of it. But he's a good fighter, but he's not invincible. He's been here twice. He's been put over. He's touching 38. No, he's not going to go on forever. And I do feel at some point someone will beat him, and I believe that can be me. I'm in the best form of my career, I believe, at 175. I feel really good at the weight. I'm improving all the time. And yeah, his record suggests he could knock me out, but my last 2 performances at 175 definitely suggest I can knock him out as well. So from a neutral, it's probably an exciting fight on paper. From me, I like my chances in that fight. It's a good fight, but a fight I believe I'll win. And if I didn't, I wouldn't have fought Bauderlique to earn the right to fight him. I'd have went a different route. It's a fight I fully believe I'll win. And no, hopefully we can get it made.
I was going to ask, why go down the route of Artur Beterbiev instead of looking towards Dimitri Bivol, who holds a WBA?
It was just, they're both good fighters, they're both tough in different ways, and it was just what would give me the quickest route. And I was ranked well with the WBC, and obviously Bivol's fought Canelo, he's now got his man C, and then he's probably going to try and fight Canelo again. And it was just a longer queue, and no, I don't want to sit around and wait. I want to be a world champion. I want to test myself now. I don't need to, when I first spoke to Eddie before the Castillo fight, I said I want one fight at the weight, and then I'll fight whoever you want me to fight. I'll go for a title after that, and I still stand by that. I don't see the point in putting your body through tough training camps and putting miles on the clock to go and have a fight what you're supposed to win easy. I want to test myself, and there's no way to test yourself than one of the champions. And I was ranked high with the BBC and push to get the final eliminator, and I got it. I've won it. Now I'm next in line, so it's exciting. It's an exciting position to be in, and I've worked hard to get back here.
Just away from yourself and on the main event in Saudi Arabia, what did you make of Alexander Usyk's win against Anthony Joshua?
I thought it was a better fight than the first one, more exciting fight to watch. I thought Joshua was better early on, wasn't as aggressive as I expected, but he was better, as in he was landing good shots. His defence was a lot better, he was slipping and countering, and I thought he'd done very well for the first 8 rounds. I thought the fight was pretty close. He had a big round 9, Joshua, and I think he punched himself out, and then the fight then turned into the first fight. Joshua was standing in front of him, and Usyk was picking his shots a little bit better and probably ran away with it towards the end. But look, he's lost to a special fighter twice. I don't believe in the criticism he's getting. He's not like he's lost to someone he's pulled off the street. He's lost to the best fighter on the planet probably, and the second time round he did make adjustments. He was a better fighter. He's just, in my opinion, he's lost to the better man, and they could probably fight 10 times and the fight would be similar, but Usyk's just hard to beat, and I think that style with Joshua suits Usyk.
Final one, because I know there's a few people waiting behind me, and I know you got to shoot off. You don't care, we can stay here then. What did you make of Anthony's post-fight speech?
I didn't see it live. I'd gone back into the back to get me taxi back to the hotel, but I think it's just a lot of people don't understand the emotions you go through in a fight and your emotions after it. And when you're, even like myself, when you're in them interviews, you're speaking and you're still on a bit of a buzz, and you don't probably realise what you're saying. And I just do believe if that was me, one of my brothers would probably get the mic off me and save you from yourself. I think it's like when you've got one of your mates who's drunk and they're making a tit of themselves, you take them out of the situation to save them from themselves. And a bit similar, I think someone in his team probably should have put a halt to it. But look, he's just speaking, he's probably had that built up for a long time. I think people forget with Joshua, as every interview he does, he's got to say the right thing. He's on such a big pedestal, and I think that was just him just letting off a bit of steam, what he's probably had built up for many years.
All right, Callum, I appreciate your time now. We'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day and catch back up with the team. Thank you for speaking to me in ID Boxing.
I know what he's next one.